In the news this week, Mike Nahan calls the Kings Square development a Freo flop as it fails to attract businesses.
Palmer untied, Clive's case against WA quashed in court.
A great friend, ScoMo, congratulated Joe's big win.
And on Western Perspective, Fremantle Mayor Brad Pettit's response to Nahan's comments.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Lowe and Sarah Smith.
Good evening. Is a dud for ratepayers. That's what former Treasurer Mike Nahan is calling Fremantle's Kings Square development, with claims it's struggling to attract businesses. He's revealed the city's social issues are an ongoing concern for the project, following scepticism about the development since it began. We begin with Nelson Liu's exclusive report.
It's a development to revitalise the heart of Fremantle, but the state opposition says...
And it's a dud.
Kings Square is being redeveloped after beginning during the former Barnett government, with government and Fremantle ratepayers contributing $70 million. Fremantle Council guaranteed success attracting new businesses, but the Liberals claimed the project is failing to do so.
The real problem was the failure of the state government to address the cultural problems in Fremantle. Homelessness, vagrancies, crime. That is the reason why no tenant will pay to lease the project for a commercial property, because customers don't want to go there because they will be hassled.
A 10-year free rent deal to one of the square's tenants would also impact surrounding businesses.
What the council is doing is putting their tenant in direct competition.
As the project also hits ratepayers.
The ratepayers aren't seeing value for money. Their rates have increased.
The City of Fremantle has denied a lack of business interest.
By the time it opens, that we will have a building that's largely leased and will bring activity and life back into this centre. Dr Nahan, we would welcome you down when the building's open in March, and you can see actually what a great catalytic project it has been.
And there was no free rent deal, and the development would bring people in. But the Liberals want the local government minister to intervene, and Fremantle member Simone McGurk to fix the social issues before more money is lost. Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
Clive Palmer is out of options after his High Court border challenge against the WA government was quashed this week, marking the end of a long-winded feud between the beloved Premier and the billionaire.
For many West Australians, it's the moment they've all been waiting for. Kit Sanders with this report.
Premier Mark McGowan celebrated the defeat of Clive Palmer this week in a press conference following the High Court's decision that WA's border closures were legal and not in violation of the Constitution. The Premier took a swipe at the Liberal Party, saying he was disappointed in the state and federal parties for backing Mr Palmer. These comments come after months of fighting and insults between Mr Palmer and the West Australian government. This conflict doesn't seem to be settling, with Attorney General John Quigley saying the decision exposed Palmer as having no respect for the law or for the health and safety of Western Australians. Political expert Ian Cook had this to say.
I'm not overly surprised by this outcome. I mean, I think the idea that states can't control their own borders and decide who comes in and out of them is something that the High Court is unlikely to turn over. So, from my sense, this was sort of the outcome that we should have been expecting. That individual citizens can't sort of overturn collective decisions about what states are going to do about who comes in and who doesn't.
Mr Palmer is out of options, with no way to appeal the High Court's decision, and he has been ordered to pay costs. Kit Sanders, WAMN News.
After being postponed over COVID-19 concerns for the vulnerable Indigenous community, Naidoc Week begins today with the theme Always Was, Always Will Be. Mervyn Eads, a celebrated Indigenous prison reform activist, shared his message. He says to make taking care of your mental health and connecting with Indigenous culture a priority.
The young people that's struggling through mental health and that, just embrace the elders, open up and talk to your elders within the community, because if you're not travelling too well, suffering from mental issues or mental health problems and that, and you think you're alone, you're not alone. There is people out there that you could touch base with, and that's through our elders and through our culture, and especially during Naidoc Week, just embrace your culture. And a lot of the healing is within talking and opening up and having that yarn and that with our people and our elders in particular. Yeah, just don't feel alone. For non-Indigenous peoples, all non-Indigenous people, Naidoc Week's about us, the First Nations people, the oldest people in culture in the world, embracing our culture and celebrating it. It's something that everyone could find healing and all those sort of things within it as well. Both our people and non-Indigenous just come along and embrace Naidoc Week and be a part of the ceremonies and that, and walk with us through Naidoc Week alongside.
The 2 WA cops who stopped a Fiver workers' South Headland stabbing rampage in May have been awarded the Cross for bravery. All up, 9 police officers received awards at this week's Police Academy super graduation ceremony. 119 cadets from our squad joined the force at this event, the largest number in recent history.
I expect them to do the right thing by the community. I think that it's a very rewarding career, one which you can really make a difference, but to treat people with respect, and in doing that they will too get respect.
Police have charged a Hammersley man for attempting to smuggle drugs into a quarantine hotel this week. According to police, the man was trying to deliver a fast food bag to a woman in a hotel on Hay Street when the bag was searched. Police allegedly found drugs wrapped in aluminium foil hidden in a bag of fries. The man is due to face the Perth Magistrates Court on the 11th of December.
Western Australians have been given a taste of India this weekend with the Diwali Mela Festival bringing the community together. The annual event, described as WA Indian diaspora's biggest multicultural festival, featured a family-friendly atmosphere showcasing food, shopping, entertainment and rides. The Indian Society of WA says the festival was important this year, reconnecting people isolated because of COVID-19.
This year in particular, this is very contextual because we are all suffering from COVID and the impact of that, and WA leadership has managed that very well, and we are in a situation now where we can actually go out and enjoy. So the particular interest for this year is to make sure that the community come together. It's a community connect, community can come together and we can all celebrate together.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says the UK's new COVID lockdowns won't last more than 4 weeks. All non-essential venues closed on Thursday, though schools, universities, construction sites and factories will remain open. According to NHS Chief Executive Simon Stevens, 11,000 COVID-19 patients were hospitalised in England at the beginning of November.
Scott Morrison has congratulated Joe Biden after he becomes the 46th US president. In a statement, he described Joe as a great friend to Australia over many years and congratulated Ms. Harris as the next vice president. Mr. Morrison continued to emphasise on the alliance between both countries built on shared values.
Astrophysicists discovered the source of a burst of cosmic radio waves within our solar system as they continued to find answers to some of the mysteries of the universe. The intense radio waves only lasted milliseconds, with scientists pinning down the source to a galactic magnetar. Scientists say the magnetar has entered an active phase, firing out enormously powerful gamma rays and X-rays.
A typical male-dominant industry is opening up with more women than ever, catching, keeping and caring for reptiles. Tessa Esbaran is a volunteer snake catcher who has handled reptiles from a young age. She is calling for more recognition of women in the herpetology community.
I find we can do just as much the same as anyone else. I think it's just that we're not recognised as much.
Amy Wild runs her own reptile education organisation. She says poisonous snakes are not the most dangerous thing on her relocation call-outs.
There's times when maybe you might need to have your wits about you a little bit more than maybe if you're a man. I'm much more worried about encountering a random person in the bush than any animal I might find.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on the website and social media pages.
No matter where you're watching, look after yourselves and we'll see you next week.
Wish you good health and good night.
Take care.